everyone, and welcome to Connections Wellness Wake Up with Nat. I'm Nat, and I'm Connections Communications and Outreach Coordinator, and this is Charlie, my daughter, 8 years old. So we are going to be showing you how to use a math clothesline. So as you can see here, we have a little math clothesline set up on the wall, and it's actually become pretty permanent for us lately. So first of all, we'll go through the basics of why we love the math clothesline. So it really is a perfect manipulative. It's fun, it's visual, it's dynamic, and I'll show you later just how dynamic it really is. And it's a really great tool to use when your child is really young, and all the way to high school, in fact. So I use it quite a bit with my boys and with Charlie when they were really young, like I'm talking 2 years old young. And I'm using it now with my boys who are 12, 13, and 15. So it's just a really fun tool to use to make math fun when the kids are very young, and then to kind of give them that visual, that manipulative once they get to high school. So the reason that you would use a math clothesline in this case is really to develop a better understanding of math concepts, right? So equations and whatnot that you would do into high school. So it helps break down really complex equations, and I'm talking complex like algebra, fractions, simplifying, exponents, like things that a lot of kids will have a hard time understanding. And it's a really great tool as well because it generalizes. So this is something that you would use alongside other tools, and Rebecca will actually talk about tactile tools tomorrow as well. It's used alongside if your child goes to school, that they would use with their math activity books when they're writing, that they would use with the smart boards at school as well. And then of course that you would use as well on the computer when they're playing computer math games or apps and whatnot. So this is something that you use in conjunction with other tools. Now, I just want to specify now that this is all about having fun with math. So it's not about finding the solution. It's about figuring out how to get to the solution. So what are the steps that you have to take to find the final answer? So right now what we're going to do is we're going to start off with Charlie. And Charlie's going to show us a game that we played with Charlie when she was really young. She might not even remember. And so Charlie, do you want to show us what the game is? So it's actually called the fishing and math clothesline. So Charlie, do you want to show us how we made our fishing line? Are you too shy? That's okay. All right, so let's see, I'll help you. So here's a typical fishing tool that kids love. So if you're able to purchase one of these are really fun. This is actually a Melissa and Doug one that you can find online. The only thing is that the actual line is not quite long enough. So you can change that, right? You just cut it, change it. As long as you keep this magnet at the end, everything's good to go. The other one that is an easy one to make is just a wooden spoon one, like this. So you just take a wooden spoon, you put your ribbon or thread, whatever you want to use at the end, one end, and then you put your little magnet. And these little magnets you can buy online as well or at the dollar store. And there's your fishing line. So basically what we're going to do, right Charlie, is we're going to fish for our numbers. Let's set it up for everyone. Here you go, big girl. All right, so Charlie's going to show us what we're going to do here. So what you're going to do is you're going to make little cards, and you can put numbers on them. And on each card, here, let me move this bench. And on each card, you'll notice a little, oh my gosh, I can't even think my words right now.
Paper clips.
Yes, paper clip. And it's my husband who's actually taping for us again. So here is your fishing tool, and Charlie is going to fish for her numbers. Go for it, Charlie. And show us how it works. Oh, a number 6. All right, go ahead. So what do we do now? So Charlie has found her number 6. Do you want to hold it up? And little kids especially love clothespins. So putting anything up on the line with a clothespin is just a really fun thing to do. So we're actually going to be doing skip counting. This is just a really short exercise that we're going to do with Charlie here. And I love using these clothespins as well. because especially for little hands, it works well with fine motor skills. Charlie's gonna grab another one. Charlie's 8 and she still loves playing this game. Oh, a 2. So where was it? 2.
I don't even remember this thing.
No, it's true. We played it a few days ago, but this specific one. So where would we put the 2 if we're doing skip counting? I wonder if we should move our cards over a little bit, girls, so we can see it in front. You want to put it over here, Buns? Put it over here on this side, okay? There we go. So we've got our 2, oops, and we've got our 6. I'm just going to put it down a bit more. Oh no!
Put it up.
Blue card there. There you go. All right.
Ah.
And Char's going to fish for our next one.
I don't want it to move.
There we go.
4.
A 4. So the fun thing about this is that she's not putting up the cards, right, as they go, like 2, 4, 6. She's actually fishing them and having to figure out where the card goes on the line. So where would the 4 go? 2, 4. That's right. All right, let's do one more card and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, Char? So let's do that one there. Go ahead, go for it. Last card to go. Where'd you go?
8.
8. So where would 8 go? 2, 4, 6, 8. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Char. And then we can move our cards over. 2, 4, 6, 8. And then it would go 10, 12, right? So this is a really fun game to play for children. And you can do this with anything.
Skip 2.
Yeah, we did the skip 2, right? 2, 4, 6, 8.
Well, then how do we get it?
You're silly. All right, so let me finish your buns, okay? So the other things that you can play as well on your Math Clothesline are patterns. You could do shapes, you could do colors, you could do sequencing. We've even done the alphabet on our clothesline, and we've done numbers and whatnot. All right, so now I'm going to show you, and let's go sit over there, just so we can show everyone how we're going to do the more difficult concepts, okay? You want to sit down, big girl? Thank you. Thank you for showing us, Char. Oh, I think Char's going to go back and play with her toys. Thank you, Charlie.
I'm playing with my toys. We're on the tablet.
Okay. So, right now, I'm just looking at my notes. It's not open the answer, but find around. Okay, so first, we're going to go into more complex stuff. And I actually have some little fun games here that we can do with our older kids. And I just want to emphasize that this is sitting with your older child. And I'd hope to have one of my boys here, but of course they're still sleeping, so I wasn't able to invite them to kind of show you how to do this. So basically what you would be doing with your older child is having a conversation about how to find a solution. So what are the steps that you would take? So here's an example of my cards. I'm not sure if you can see them here that we've created. And here I'm going to show about how to add integers. So I've made my little minus cards here. And it's simply just putting them up, and I tent them, because when the kids are young, they love the clothespins, but when they're older, you don't have time to do it with clothespins. So I'm going to put minus 14. And once you get used to this and the kids get used to it, you can actually do this pretty quickly, getting the cards up. So minus 14, minus another minus here. 26. Let's go with 26 here. I'm going to stand up so it's easier for me to do. And equals. So basically, you've got your minus 14 minus 26. And a really great tool, a really great trick is actually trying to teach your kids the rules here. So if you have a minus and a minus, you can actually turn that into a plus, right? So now you have minus 14 plus 26. And the really fun thing here is, like I said, it's really dynamic. So we're already moving things around. Our equal can go over here. And we can take our cards and move them here. So now our equation is 26 minus 14 equals, where's our 12? Equals 12. And I'm missing a 1 here. Oh, there it is. Equals 12. So here you see the process of the child having to figure out that the minus and minus becomes the plus, and then moving your equation over so that you can more easily minus your 26 from your 14 to find your 12. So that's just an example of how to do an integer with a child. And they can be up here as well with you doing the math equation and really talking to you about what are the steps. So what's the first thing you look at? Well, you look at the minus and minus. Can you change that? Yes, into a plus. So that's one really fun activity to do with integers. The next one I want to show you is the divisibility rule. So you would need a 2. I'm just going to take these off. So what you have is a 2, a 7, 9, and I hope I'm not blocking the numbers, and a 5, as you can see here. So 2, 7, 9, 5, and you want to ask your child, okay, so is this divisible by 2? And of course they'd say, well, no, because you've got a 5 at the end. So you'd have to ask them to puzzle through it and see, okay, how can you make this divisible by 2? And you simply have to add a part at the end. So you add a 2. And then you say, okay, awesome, is this divisible by 3? So what's the rule of 3? Well, let's see, we have to add up all the numbers. So 7 plus 2 plus 9 plus 2 would be what? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Is that right? 7, yeah, that's right. So is that divisible by 3? It's not. So how do we make it divisible by 3? So then the child could say, well, what if we changed the 9 to a 2? So now 2772, so 2,772 is now divisible by 3. All right, what if we want to make it divisible by 4? What do we do at that point? Well, we know that this isn't divisible by 4 because the sum of the two last digits, 7 plus 2, 7, 8, 9, they're not divisible by 4. So this number is not divisible by 4. So let's make it divisible by 4. We can add a 4 right there. So 4 plus 2 is 8. 8 is divisible by 4. So now the number is divisible by 4. So you see how much fun that is, right? We have a lot of fun doing that together as a family with the boys. So it's really a puzzle that you're trying to solve. Oh, my husband's wondering if we should show what's on the wall. So yeah, for sure. I think that's a great idea. So what we do is we actually put a lot of the information on the wall to give them pointers, right? Because the focus of this is not finding the answer per se, but trying to figure out how to get to the answer. So we do put a lot of the rules on the wall when they're starting to understand or learn some of the new concepts. So that's the divisibility rule. Now, if you have any questions after the video as well, you can always add them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer those as well. So now fractions. You're thinking, how can you do fractions on a board, right? And again, I'm going to do really, really simple fractions, and you can use bigger numbers with your child if you want. So I've got a 1, and I've got my little, my little division, and a 4. And I'm sure you're thinking, that doesn't really look like a fraction that you'd find on paper. And that's okay, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to generalize, right? You're trying to show this in different ways. And Rebecca, again, will talk to you about that when she talks about the tactile tools. The idea is really to generalize all these equations in different situations with different tools. So we've got 1 over 4 plus, where's my little plus? Here it is. Plus, let's do 4 over 8. So I'm just going to look for my 4. Here's my numbers got a little mixed up here when we were doing our numbers, our divisibility rules. There's our 4. And we're going to do 4 over 8. And there we go. And I even have a little equal sign. Where is my little equal sign? Did I lose that one? Oh, here it is. All right. So 1 over 4 plus 4 over 8. So of course, what would be the first step? Well, we need to make sure that our denominators are the same, right? So how would we do that? So let's work on this one. And you'd let your child kind of figure out, how do we make this denominator the same as the 8? All right, well, 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so we can put our 8 up. And because we've done 4 times 2 with our denominator, we'd of course do it with our 1. So 1 times 2 would be 2. And here's a fun thing as well. So 2 plus 4, so we really separated those numbers, is 6. And of course 8 and 8 stays the same because we're adding, and it is 6 over 8. And of course, the teacher would say, oh no, is that really the answer? I guess we could make it lower, couldn't we? We could simplify it. So why don't we simplify it by dividing it by 2? I'm just looking for my 4. So my 6 divided by 2 would be 3, and my 8 divided by 2 would be 4. So you see how much fun that is for kids, especially because they'd be grabbing the numbers and putting them on, talking through it, right, with you. It's really about having that conversation. So if you wanted to do something with, and this is a tough one. I know one of my boys has a really hard time with this one. It's the dividing fractions. And when you do it this way, it's actually pretty easy because what you would do, and I'll just show you quickly, is you'd say, okay, so how do we divide a fraction? Well, when we divide a fraction, we actually take our division and we turn it into multiplication, and we take our numbers in the back and we turn them over. And there you go. 2 times 8, 16, which I don't have right now, 8 times 4, right? So you've shown them visually how to change this fraction and the numbers. I know my boy has learned really well that way. And I'll show you one more, and this is, I have to admit, one of my favorite ones, and it's algebra. Algebra can be that really frustrating one for kids, right? So let's say we have 26, and I'm not going to do times. Let's just keep it simple for now. And we're going to do a plus, and we're going to need a 6. 26 plus x equals what? So how would we go about doing that, right? So again, what we would do is anything that crosses over, you'd explain, is the opposite. So our plus, oh, I forgot to put the answer. One sec here, we need the answer, which is 13. And there we go. So if we cross our equal sign, we're bringing the equation over on the other side. Our plus becomes a minus. We take our 26 because it follows, and 32 minus 26 equals x, which equals, where's my little 6? See? So much fun, right? A lot more fun than doing it on paper, I think. And there we go. So we've done integers, we've done the divisibility rule, we've done fractions, and we've even done algebra on our math line. And again, if you want to keep it simple for the little kids, you can do shapes, you can do patterns, you can do number patterns, right? That one's fun as well. So I just wanted to leave you with that. And I think that's about it. So just having fun with the number line, and if you have a really young one, it's great to kind of see the growth and the progression where you have lots of fun doing math stuff and where the fun keeps going as you do even the more complex equations. So I hope this was helpful for you guys who are learning at home, but having fun learning at home when doing math. So I guess I'll see you this afternoon actually, because we will be welcoming Krish and his nephew and a friend and our family as well, and we're going to be doing some jamming at 2 o'clock. So hopefully you'll join us at 2 today to have fun jamming. Bring your instruments and you can join us as well. See you soon. Bye.